topic of today is physical and emotional abuse. It's from a senior project. I'm in Miss Harvey's class. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
No.
Yes? No? Maybe? Like this? Okay, so imagine you're a little child. You know, you draw the best finger painting you've ever done. As you can see, like, you know, you're a child, so you think it's amazing. Or even your first sentence, you know, like the first complete sentence. And you show it to your parents, right? I mean, your parents are supposed to congratulate you. They're supposed to say, like, give you a little praise or something. But instead, they just look at you and they don't care. So, like, you know, as a child, you're going to feel, like, hurt. You're going to feel like, you know, it's not that big. And, okay, so you're going to bed now. You're still a little child. Instead of hearing a regular good night, little kiss on the forehead or cheek, whatever, you just go to bed. So you go to bed, you jump into the covers, and you hope that you don't hear screaming, fighting, or like, you know, your mom screaming, your dad screaming. And, you know, it's something that a lot of people would like face, but it's also something that a lot of us don't. And I think it's something that children have, you know, it affects children. My personal story is, you know, I wasn't personally abused, but my parents were. You know, both of them didn't know one parent or the other. For my mom, she had her dad and a stepmom, but her stepmom always hit her for no reasons. She blamed everything on her. She would hit her every day. Her dad kicked her out of school when she was in first grade because, you know, back then it was normal that, you know, a woman belongs in the kitchen. And her stepmom always hit her for no reasons. And also the same with my dad. He didn't know his dad. He had a single mother. She would hit him a lot. He would work as a labor worker. He was kicked out of school in like third grade to work in fields, make money for his mom and his uncle. Whenever he did something bad, or even if he didn't do something bad, he always get whipped by his uncle. His mom didn't do anything about it, and they forced him to go to America, to work, and he never received a quarter out of it. And yeah. So some statistics about abuse. It's like in prison, there's 14% of men and 36% of women in prison that were abused as children. And that's a small population, whereas in the general public, it's around like 7% and like 33%, no, 16%, something like that, that get abused. So it kind of shows you that, like, you know, kids who are abused, like, you know, they go to jail more because, like, you know, they do bad things. And children who experience child abuse and neglect are about 9 times more likely to join in criminal activity. And it kind of makes sense since, you know, as a child, your home is your safe haven. So if you see your dad hitting your mom or your mom hitting your dad, you know, you're going to think it's okay. You're going to go outside, you're going to do it, and when you get in trouble for it, you're not going to know why, because, you know, they do it at home. So why isn't it allowed outside? So one of my interviews was with a therapist. Her name was Luzgarda Rivera. And basically she told me, always remember that a victim, it's not their fault. It's never their fault. And the perpetrator, the person who abuses, you know, most of the times it's because they want to fulfill an inner need that they have within themselves. They feel like, you know, they want power. And, you know, sometimes the abuser may not even know he's abusing or she's abusing. Or they may not be able to stop. Again, probably they had it in the childhood, so they think it's fine. And again, they want power. They want to be the one who controls everything. They want to control the person they care about. And, you know, why she does this, she wants to help out others. She feels like they have a greater, she feels like everybody has a greater inner self that she wants to pull out, and abuse does it, like, you know, it holds them back. And she's also had to deal with children as well. And for children, she feels sad about them because they're being abused by their parents, and what happens is that, you know, they take wrong paths and they have to deal with they have to deal with that stuff. It's like, and yeah. Some facts about abuse. Again, it's not the victim's fault. It never is. When they get, the abuser basically wants to make the abused feel denigrated, so they feel less about themselves, fearful, and demoralized. 1 in 3 abuse cases is men, and it's kind of sad because, you know, many people always stereotype abuse with women, but it's also men who get abused. But the reason why they don't report it is because they feel like they'll be weak, or they'll be laughed at, or they themselves will feel like stressed out about it. And what happens is with men who get abused, the woman uses her feminist side to like take control. So if she's abusing him and he wants to call the cops, she could threaten him saying, you know, I'm a girl, I will look weak, you are the man. Like, it's just general stereotypes that kind of ruin it for abuse. Like, a man can't really express when he's being hurt. And domestic abuse often escalates into threats and violence. So, yeah. And another thing is that, you know, an abuser can be anyone. It could be from the nicest person to the meanest. It could be a stranger or a close friend. So that kind of shows you that, you know, an abuser can be anyone. It could be like the person sitting next to you. You may not even know it. And yeah. Okay, so for my solution, there really is no solution for this, because a child, like, he or she may not have a lot of resources. So the best part, ideally, it would be go to a therapist, but that really never usually happens. The second ideal thing is, you know, call the cops, but again, like, a child may not want to turn in their parents, so it's kind of like, it works against them, because it's a person that they love, a person that they care about. But another third option would be to talk to a close friend. Now, sometimes talking to a close friend may be very helpful for them, or might be able to de-stress or find help in other ways so that they do the right thing. And there's also a hotline for them. It's right there on the home screen. PowerPoint. And that's it.